Howdy, folks. Just getting the coffee ready. Let's see. I was talking to Richie earlier, but I was getting stuff ready, so I didn't finish reading everything. I'm working alone this morning. I'll be listening in and commenting. That's okay. If you want to join, go ahead. But if you can't, I understand. Let's see. There'll be no end, maybe a little later on. That's fine. Hey, guys. See, LDG. Yeah, sorry I had to leave the stream. I was working on the Lower Decks episode 3 review. And after I finished compiling, there was a couple of errors, so I decided to fix those. I'm going to recompile, and I'll post it after the stream. And Bird's in the house. Howdy, Bird. You're going to be doing 4 episodes today? That's interesting. So let me get my coffee poured real quick, though, because I finally can show off the mug because I refound it. I bought it like 3 or 4 weeks ago, but since I don't show the mugs on the Jeopardy streams and I misplaced it, I got another Batman mug, this time for the animated series. It's got Batman on one side and Batman on the other. So, you're going to be finishing season 1. I think there only was, there was technically 2 seasons, but technically it only was enough for 1 full season for back in the day, I believe. But yeah, you're right, season 1. And I am adding a little bit of alcohol. I picked up a couple of these. I don't know if the light will let me show you what it is. It's horchata cinnamon rum cream. So I'm going to add that to the coffee this morning. And because I'm in the storage unit, there will be no nicotine until after I leave the storage unit. So, alrighty. Let's see. I'll go ahead and post the link again. Just in case. Alrighty. 22 episodes total. There has to be an odd week or 4 covered. Or you could do 2 weeks of 2. Depends on how long he wants to stretch the thing out for. That's a little bit more sweet than I was thinking it was going to be. It's not bad, but it's definitely sweeter. And of course, since it was a new Batman mug, I had to wear the Joker bandana. So I was hoping to actually have the next review. Let me fix this light real quick. I was hoping to have the review actually up before I did the stream, but there was a very big glaring mistake about 3 minutes in, and I had to fix that before I did it. And because my computer's so slow, it takes like an hour for it to compile. And the episode ended up being a lot longer than I was planning on. I've been trying to aim for like between 6 and 8 minutes for these reviews, but we ended up having a guest join us for this episode, and I won't say who it is right now. It's not, you guys don't know them. And because of that, there was a lot more or a lot more that we recorded. It was like almost 25 minutes. Come on, let me do this. There we go. Howdy, Wolfie.
Morning. How's it going?
Oh, just peachy. I was just talking about the last review when we recorded it. But yeah, when we recorded it, there was like 25 minutes of audio that we recorded. I was trying to cut that down. I ended up cutting it down to about 8 minutes, 8.5 maybe. But no, it was even with all the clips and everything, it still ended up being like a 12-minute episode.
Yeah, but with your reviews, Candy Night makes you laugh. You don't even know realize how long it is.
Yeah, but from what I understand, for up and coming YouTubers, they say that the amount of time you want your videos to be is between 8 to 10 minutes at most.
Ah.
Yeah, no, that's not a roll-up door. It's just a regular door, Richie. I don't have a roll-up storage unit. My unit's upstairs because it's cheaper. Oh, howdy, Cinnabon. Didn't see you there.
Morning, Cinnabon.
But part of the reason the record went so long was because of the guest we had. So there was a lot I had to end up cutting out. Otherwise, it would have just gone on forever. Even still, the outtakes could have been like 10 minutes long by themselves. But because of the guest we had, there was a bunch of cuss words. And I was like, I'm not going to bleep out all the cuss words. So I'm just going to cut those from the outtakes. And no, Bird, you're not the guest, I'm afraid. Not this time, at least. If you want to be a guest on the next one of the Lower Decks reviews, let me know. Message me on Twitter or something. Maybe we could work something out. Let's see. Okay. So let me do this. I don't know why it takes a few seconds for me to try to get someone else on. It's like, oh, you have a guest in the back room. All right, bring them up. Nope, not going to let you. Nope, not going to let you click on it until we're ready.
Now, are you using Caddy Knight's phone? Because maybe she has a program to annoy you.
No, her phone is actually a better model than mine. Mine only has 16 gigabytes of disk space and 2 something of RAM. Hers is literally twice as fast, twice as much memory. I've got basically the equivalent of a Galaxy 3, and she's got the equivalent of a Galaxy 9.
Oh, nice.
So,
yeah, I'm not sure what the speed is on mine. I got 16 gig Samsung, straight talk phone.
Yeah, same thing, but basically the as they create new phones, they can actually make some of the older phones cheaper. So what they do is they just call it something else. That's why I say I have the equivalent of a Galaxy 3. And it's because it was made by the time the Galaxy 4, 5, or 6 came out, something like that. So they had to call it something else, but it's still the same basic setup as a Galaxy 3.
Yeah, I got mine on rollback for $49.
Oh, the stuff outside the door, Richie, is a little rolling shelf unit that I use to put certain things on. It's just to make things easier. Because where I'm sitting right now is usually filled up with stuff when I close the door. And having that stuff on wheels and putting out in the hallway is a lot easier when I'm here. That's why that's slightly outside the door. And I have it angled a little bit to block some of the outside light so it doesn't blind people.
Oh, I got quite a bit of DVDs back there, it looks like.
Yeah, well, there are DVDs, a couple of games, books. Oh, crap, I just now noticed my light broke. Great. I gotta fix that. The centipede light.
Ah.
I'll take it down for now, but yeah, I'll fix it later. I got to make a plastic version. That one's just made out of foam.
Yeah.
So how you doing, Candor?
Okay.
Anything new happening with you?
In Texas now.
I'm sorry.
But I'm in Texas now. Oh, you said that you're sorry that I am in Texas.
Yeah. I've got family back in Texas, and I've never liked it.
Yeah, this is the second time I've been to Texas.
Yeah, I've got so much family in Texas that one of the funniest stories I have was I was driving around one of the town a lot of my family lives in, and I get pulled over by a cop for failing to completely stop at a stop sign.
Hmm.
And the cop looks at my ID and says, "Oh, you're so and so. Are you related to this person?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's my dad or my grandfather, depending on which one you mean." And he goes, "Well, hi, I'm your cousin Daryl. Nice to meet you."
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
way to go.
And I got another cousin, Daryl, right?
So he was like a second or third cousin, something along those lines that I'd never met before.
Oh. Yeah, I haven't run into unknown cousins, but I used to do telemarketing, charity fundraising,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a call pop up on my screen, and it was my grandmother. Of course, I'm still in training at this point, so they're monitoring me.
Mm-hmm.
And they come over and ask me why I did it the way I did. Because as soon as I heard a sound of a pickup, it's, "Hi, Grandma." Like that. It was just real fast. So I explained to them, my grandmother kept a whistle right next to her phone, and that was her anti-telemarketer. She'd blow this whistle and blow your eardrums out.
And Philip Gaming's in the house. Howdy, man. And Bird was asking Candor, did the storms affect you at all?
What storms? You mean the
Texas
hurricane?
is a big state.
You mean
Not all the
hurricane?
storms are gonna.
You
I think it might be talking about the hurricanes, though.
I mean, I drove through some rain, but it was really nothing serious or nothing like that. I mean, it was like a downpour in a few areas, but only lasted a few minutes, and then you basically just drive through it, you know. So no, I guess.
Yeah, it's funny though when you're driving down some of those roads in Texas where they actually have hurricane evacuation lanes.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I'm basically in Dallas, so that's obviously way far away from the Gulf of Mexico, compared to where I was the first time, which was San Antonio, and that had evacuation routes around San Antonio.
Yeah.
But even that is inland compared to Houston, you know, which is right by, but real close to the water, basically, you know.
As I said, most of my family's in a town called Kunst outside of Beaumont. And yeah, every time they get a bunch of evacuations, it's funny to see it on Facebook sometimes. They're like, "Oh, we've been told to leave. We're getting the hell out of here." Of course, you also have a couple of family members like, "Oh, it ain't going to be shit. We're staying here."
Oh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, unless you live right by the water, basically, or I guess even semi inland. Like if you're so far inland, then usually you're okay. Um,
Well, the area of Texas they're in is a very marshy area. I wouldn't say it's like a swamp, but it's definitely very wet, very marshy,
yeah.
and it floods very easily.
Okay.
I mean, my grandfather's and his entire farm was just completely flooded, and it was kind of you'd see the entrance to the barn, and the entrance to the barn has like 2.5 feet of water in front of it.
Wow.
So
Yeah. Well, they say
fortunately,
Houston.
the house was raised on cement. It had a big, huge cement foundation, so the house was fine. But
Yeah.
all the other outbuildings were close to the ground. I remember that year he would complain that he had a little storage, storage barn type thing that had power, and because it was so low to the ground, the power got knocked out, and that's where he kept all his hunting carcasses. For like where he'd store the venison, the rabbit, any other animals they'd hunted, and he's like, all that meat is just gone to waste. And he was like, that was probably like a couple $1,000 just in meat that they lost. Now, of course, originally the idea was to talk about lower decks. Do you guys want to actually do that, or do you want to keep talking about Texas?
Yeah, we can talk about lower decks if you want.
It's your show.
Well, again,
Yeah,
the only
whatever-
I said,
whatever-
or anything else we wanted to talk about, but the only reason I was going to do that is because I was hoping to have the episode posted before now. But I have actually seen the 4th episode. I did that when I was with my buddy Justin, and because of him, I already recorded it, so that way I can show the Vile Child, and we were actually going to try to watch it today, and I was going to start on the episode 4 review, but family stuff got in the way again for her.
Yeah, I mean it was another dumb episode. If you ask me.
Oh, some of them are games, Phil. Some are movies. Some are toys. It's like everything right here is on the eBay store. Same with a lot of the stuff up here, and all this is stuff that is either going on the eBay store or is on the eBay store, depending on how lazy I was. So
Yeah, the whole sensors thing was stupid.
oh, come on. I thought that was great because I've always seen people mispronounce things on Trek. And I think that someone pointing it out is actually kind of funny because how often do we have someone do that in chat? You're not saying that right. It's not shields, it's shields.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a very human thing to do, and I thought it was funny.
Yeah, I thought it was dumb. But anyway. Yeah. But yeah, so Mariner was again yanked down from lieutenant to ensign just like that.
Well, she said that she'd been, or she had at least implied that she had been demoted before. So
yeah, 5 times. I guess this is 6 now.
I'm way behind. I've only made it about 10 minutes into the 2nd episode, so they hadn't even left the ship yet with the Klingon.
Well, we got Resolute Germ and Alexander, not that Alexander Brooks in the house. Actually, I haven't seen that Alexander in a while. I wonder if he's okay.
I don't know. Hey, Caddy.
And we have Caddy in the house. Well, I don't actually have a list right now. Everything, if it's on the eBay store, it's on the eBay store. But I get lazy at times because there's a bunch of stuff that I've been trying to post. I mean, this is stuff that I just picked up in the last couple of days that I haven't posted. I still haven't posted stuff like I picked this up about 2 or 3 months ago, and I haven't been able to post it. And I dropped it, which is even better. So I won't tell you what game it is, so you don't know. But between making the videos, working, it just there's no time to do anything. And then after about noon or so in my storage unit, it gets so freaking hot. I don't want to take pictures, and I got this whole setup where I take up pictures in the storage unit. I'll see if I can show you guys real quick because that's where the camera is right now. It's just a little thing I use. So I got to move everything out of the way now. But this is basically what I use to take pictures. I just have lights above it that shine down. And I even just a couple of LED lights provides enough light so things are visible. And I take the pictures here so I know that when I'm done, I can put them on the shelf and keep track of what's posted and what's not. Yeah. The true star is here. Pain in my ass.
And there you go. Well, I posted the link to this store in chat for you.
Thank you. I don't have any merch yet. First thing I'm trying to do is at the library that Caddy sometimes volunteers at, and where she plays, or where she used to play D&D until COVID. Occasionally, they would have a button maker, and I actually had some buttons made for the store. I wish I had an example to show you, but the only one I have left is on my computer bag. It just says, SD game swap.
I'm gonna have to get going. Actually, sorry.
Sorry.
I'm gonna have to get going. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. Thanks for joining us.
Great day.
But we might have someone to replace you in a sec. So if I can get the thing to work, there we go. I don't know who this is though. Could be a troll.
That's dangerous.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Oh, and Resolute Germ said Alexander's working 2 jobs and can't stream from the parking lot anymore.
I thought he mostly did a stream from his house, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, if I have to end the stream real quick, y'all know why, because or maybe this person can post something in the chat about who they are, so I know that they're not just a troll. Let's see. See if you post something in the private chat. Because I don't recognize the name or the avatar logo. I don't know why I'm drinking from that. What I have. I'm so used to drinking out of my 7-Eleven cup because I drink out of those every day. I don't make coffee at home. I go to 7-Eleven.
Oh. Yeah, I haven't been to a 7-Eleven in, oh man, it's probably been 30 years.
The Bee Nest movies. I'm no troll. Well, I haven't seen you on anyone else's stream.
Yeah.
That's why I'm trying to figure out who you are.
I think I saw him on Mr. Londell's stream the other night, or yesterday, or it was on DJ's stream the other night.
Okay.
I can't remember. I recognize the name.
Okay.
Oh, I got a phone call.
All right. Well, I'll bring you up. We'll see what happens.
All right. Can y'all hear me good?
Yeah, a little bit of static, but otherwise you're fine.
All right. Tell me when it stops.
It's only happening when you're talking.
Oh shit. Maybe I have to move. Let me move.
At least I hear a little bit of static. I don't know about anyone else.
Yeah, it's my mic. My mic's kind of messed up. So. All right. How we doing?
About the same. I don't know. It sounds like a little bit of feedback. You're close to another magnetic source?
Not really. Shit.
This damn house, maybe he can get some tech support.
This damn thing's been giving me problems like since yesterday. I have to move the wire around to kind of get it to stop. Still a problem?
No, doesn't seem as bad.
I mean, if it's a problem, I can get off here. If it's distracting.
Oh, no worries, dude. And,
no, I just popped in, man, just to see what's going on.
Do you have that game? I mean, come on. If you don't have Frogs and Flies for the Intellivision, then you don't have every game.
What is that? What is that for? Atari?
Intellivision.
What? I never heard of that.
Oh, let's see if I have one. No. I know I have one somewhere. It could be in this area, and I'm not going to try to dig those out right now.
That's cool. What year those things come out?
Between 79 and 81, I believe.
Oh, so around the same year Atari did?
A little bit before the Atari, I think.
Oh, really? I didn't know there was anything. Oh, well, shit.
There were plenty of systems before the Atari. In fact, one of the systems I actually have, which was a funny story behind it, because I go to swap meets sometimes, and this guy had a big box of Atari stuff, but on top of the Atari, he had an Coleco Telstar Colortron, and that was a video game player before Atari. And of course, I said, "Hey, how much for that?" And I point to the box, and he goes, $20. And I was going to pick up just the Telstar. And he goes, for the whole box. And I was like, okay, here's 20. I'm going to take the whole box.
Damn. I remember as a kid, I wanted an Atari. And I think back then they were charging like $110 for it. And that was like probably late 70s. And what's that in today's money? Like $500? It's ridiculous.
But
I loved it though.
The Telstar Colortron came out before the Atari. It was technically the first video game in color, and I do the quotation marks because back before that, the games were basically black, white, and gray. Well, this one had black, white, gray, red, green, blue, and yellow, and that was it for colors.
Huh.
So, but it was, the first one in color, and it was basically 4 versions of Pong with different colored backgrounds, which they called different games. One was apparently Highlight, one was ice hockey, one was field soccer or something like that.
And it was all Pong?
It was all Pong, but with different colored backgrounds. And, but when I got it, it didn't actually work. So I spent hours. I took it apart. I resoldered every little thing on there, replaced a couple of the capacitors and anything else that looked burned out. Finally, I plugged it in to the TV. It turned on, and I was so happy. I turned to the Vile Child, and I'm like, check this out. This is what Grandpa played when he was my age. And she's sitting there on the couch playing her DS. She looks at the screen, looks back at her DS, looks back at the screen, and goes, Dad, that sucks. And just goes back to playing her DS.
Back then, it was good.
Well, you're talking about a console that's almost 10 years older than me.
Damn. Back I remember back in the Commodore 64 days, I don't know much about computer tech now, but like back in the Commodore 64 days, I mean, I knew it all. I mean, back then you could buy games and they had a copyright protection on it where you couldn't copy it. Well, I knew how to crack the code, But back then you can get a game, and if you didn't like it, you can take it back to the store and get your money back. So we would buy games, crack it, copy it, take it back to the store, get your money back, and then spread it around bulletin boards,
Yeah, we did similar things when I had my Amiga, because my Amiga only had enough hard disk space to save one game at a time. So I would put it on a hard drive and then immediately copy it onto a 5.5-inch floppy or however many floppies it took.
Yeah.
And then I would return the game as well. But again, when you're going to a computer store, that they knew exactly what you were doing. That's one of the reasons games were sold in Ziploc bags.
Yeah, they figured it out pretty quick, and they stopped refunding money. So once you got it, you got it. But I remember the bulletin boards where only one person could get on at a time. And you leave your message, and then you have to log on later. That's if you can get on. It's not busy, and then see what the other person wrote. I mean, it was madness.
I remember having to manually type in the phone numbers of wherever I wanted to go to, because I had like a 0.5 bit modem for my Amiga.
I think I had like a 400, 800 baud modem, some cheap baud modem. I mean, it took like forever. Took probably 5 hours to download some kilobyte game.
All right, let me go back. Let's see. Philip says he got rid of his Intellivision. He might have an Intellivision 2 for sale. The Atari VCS came out in 1977, and the Intellivision came out in 1979. You're probably right. I could be wrong about my history about that. I know I have an Intellivision 2 that should be, or that I've been meaning to post to the store. I've just been really lazy. I'm not going to get rid of my Intellivision 1 because I think that's one of the coolest looking systems. I just wish that it had the controller setup of the Intellivision 2, because the Intellivision 2, you could actually unplug the controller if there was any damage. So you could easily replace the controller, whereas the Intellivision 1, they were all hardwired in. And to replace it, you have to take the whole thing apart and actually unsolder the thing. It's a big hassle.
All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna get out of here. I just popped in to see what's going on. So you guys have fun.
Thanks for showing up. Nice meeting you.
All right, man. You too.
I'll see you around more often.
All right, Night Breeze. Yeah, I remember Night Breeze from Mr. Londale's movies.
Yeah, I was trying to remember which it was, that stream or if it was Deej's stream that I saw you on.
Oh no, it was on the talent. When he had the Tylenol thumbnail. It was LDG's stream, I believe.
No, wow, okay.
Cool. All right, man. Y'all take it easy.
You too.
And hey, Sci-Fi, why are you saying hi to yourself in chat?
Hey, Sci-Fi, you never got back to me about that thing on Twitter. I sent you a video to get your approval, and you never actually responded. So I figured, oh, maybe you're just too busy. You dink. One of the things I picked up a while ago that I'm gonna try to do for a Jeopardy thing later on this year as one of the prizes, which I do have the prize for Germ and I do have the prize for Rosetta, but I don't have. Unfortunately, when I clicked on Germ's thing on eBay to try to get his address back, it wouldn't let me see his address. So I gotta contact him about getting his address again. But I've got both his prize and Rosetta's prize ready to go. It's sitting in the car in envelopes. I just need to slap the address on there and ship them out. But I picked up this guy, and I want to do that as a one of the prizes for Jeopardy closer to Christmas, because it's actually an ornament. It's one of the Hallmark ones, and it's it's one of the 95 Hallmark ones, but it's missing the back piece. And Sci-Fi, I sent you the video as a part of a direct message, so check your direct messages. All right, maybe that's him gonna defend himself. You know, I didn't check that, Germ. I'll check it and I'll get back to you. But I guess Rosetta's been busy, so that's why she hasn't done it yet. Come on. Oh, yes, he's going to try to defend himself. Oh, no, stop it. There we go. All right, howdy, Jay.
Is Mike's phone actually going to work this time?
I don't know. It depends. That's also weird because when I want to lean forward in so I can read the DMs, or not the DMs, the chat, because the camera on the phone is on one side. When I get close, I start to look like Two-Face.
Yeah, no, you got like half a face.
It's because the camera's on this side, or actually this side. God, it's weird because the camera reverses me.
So yes, you did send me something, and I had something come up, so I do apologize for that. Son of a bitch.
Here you go, Richie. It's supposed to be Jean-Luc going through, I guess, a turbo lift door or something. I don't know.
That actually looks like a corridor. That's a corridor at Red Alert, because they had the same silver corridor in the refit era Enterprise. And that's one thing I loved about TNG and the refit era Enterprise is they had the same silver corridors with the same Red Alert going down the center of the corridor.
Well, all I know is that I picked it up really cheap. That's why I want to do it as one of the giveaways. But yeah, it just says on the bottom, 1995, Paramount Pictures, Hallmark Cards Incorporated. So that's how I know it's a Hallmark ornament. But when I looked up it on eBay, apparently there's supposed to be a backing to it. That's why I said turbo lift, because the backing shows like a turbo lift door.
Oh, so it's supposed to have like a background to it. Okay.
Yeah.
See, I just saw the silver on both sides with the red going down the middle. That's why it looked like a corridor to me.
So that's one of the things I wanted to give away. And then actually the reason I showed this was because this is also one of the things I want to give away. Because I picked up a pretty large Intellivision collection a few years back. And
if you ever
99% of it is gone except for this game and a couple other ones that I'm putting together that are already on the store.
If you ever get an Atari 2600 Heavy Sixer, let me know what you want for it.
No, Richie, on the episode 3 review, it is not Sci-Fi Nation.
Not this time, anyway.
No, the plan was for him to be on the episode 2 review, but he never got back to me on Twitter. I sent him stuff. He was like,
which is still sitting there on Twitter, and I got the stuff, but shit came up, And I do apologize, Mike. I really do. I'm glad you were able to carry on. But
No, when I wrote the script for it, I ended up just transferring half your lines to me and half the lines to Caddy.
oh, I can
And
just see
rewriting them
Caddy.
to come from us.
I can just see Caddy trying to say my lines. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, she actually, you if you pay attention, she does say some things that I wrote specifically for you, or to have you rewrite into your own voice.
And here we're going to look at them watching this show, acting like a bunch of dumbasses. Watch how they do this. You see that? They didn't even realize what they were doing as they ran over here. Oh, but anyhow, here you go.
No, I don't think it'd be too much different though, Val. You know, Caddy, sci-fi. You know, except for maybe Caddy might have added a little more curse words into it.
Oh God! As I said, on episode 3, there was one segment where she and the guest, again, I'm not going to tell you who the guest is yet, but the two of them were just cussing like every third word, and I'm like, no, you got to stop! I can't do this.
Richie Poole said, Sci-Fi Nation, cuss words, video approval. I think we know who your special guest is, Vile Mike. You know what? I was supposed to be the special guest on Vile's second video, like he just said, but apparently Caddy did a pretty damn good job with my lines, so
well, again, we some of the lines I put in for you are literally just write your opinion here, but
no, if she would have recorded the lines like Sci-Fi, write your opinion here. Anyways, getting back to the show. That would have been kind of cool, but you could have called me out on it too.
Oh, Philip's saying that he has a copy signed by the creator of B-17 Bomber.
B-17 Bomber.
No, you have to say it correctly. It's B-17 Bomber.
Well, you know what? I don't train my throat to say anything, so.
So I don't remember if it's the Intellivision that my cousin had, or if it was the ColecoVision. It was the one that you had the controller and you actually just put an overlay on top of the controller, depending on which game you're playing.
The television had that, and also the Atari 5200 had a version of that.
Yeah, the one after the 2600. The 2600 was the most popular, but the 5200, where they actually put like 2 more megs of RAM inside the console, yay! Actually had screen overlays. Like you could do like different games with different stuff you stuck on a TV screen and stuff, and it's supposed to be cool.
Megnabox Odyssey had the same thing. I actually have a boxed 5200 in my collection right there, but I can't reach it right now to show you guys. No, but the reason I was doing that voice for B-17 Bomber is because the television had something called the IntelliVoice, which was a voice synthesizer type thing that plugged into the Intellivision, and then you'd plug the game into that, and during certain parts of the game, it would, give a voice sound or other stuff like that.
Okay, so like all those science fiction shows where the computer says,
yeah, that stereotypical computer voice, that's basically what the IntelliVoice was, and it was the first game I tried on it was B-17 Bomber. I've got it a boxed IntelliVoice somewhere around here too as well.
You understand what we're saying? You can understand
about half the IntelliVoice games, but they're just so horrible. I mean, at least the voice synthesis, because there's no emphasis between the words to even come close to sounding similar.
Let's put it this way: the speak and spell was light years ahead of those fucking game chips.
Pretty much. Yeah, the 5200 had controller overlays just like the Intellivision.
And it's supposed to be better than 2600. No wonder Nintendo wouldn't at work.
Well, no, Nintendo wasn't even out yet because
well, as far as I'm concerned, it was okay. I had an Atari 2600 in 82, 83. My sister's born in 83. And so I was sitting there playing blah, 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 Thundercats, running down the driveway, not getting tripped up by the landlord's dog. And then Nintendo came out. We're still living there. So I went across the road to play Wizards and Warriors. What year did Nintendo come out? 1984?
84, I believe, in the United States.
Yes, so a year after my sister was born.
Sorry, that's just some old in television games I have on the floor right now.
Oh, the 5200 sucks. I'd rather have my 2600 heavy sixer.
I'd rather have the 7800 because it was backwards compatible with the 2600.
Yeah, well, I'd rather have my 2600 and my C64, Mike.
Sorry?
I'd rather have a 2600 heavy sixer and my C64.
Well, I've got both. I just don't have them. I ended up.
There's a reason. There's a reason I want a heavy sixer for the 2600.
Because it looks better.
No, it's internally. And if you don't know why internally, why are you even a game purveyor?
No, I have a heavy sixer. I just don't have it hooked up right now because I had to unhook a lot of my systems from my bedroom. Because a couple of weeks ago I had to basically give up my bedroom to my nieces.
Okay, so how many 2600s do you have?
Including non-working ones, about 17 right now.
Okay, so take a non-working one. And if you have any heavy sixers that you don't mind looking at inside, look at the inside of a heavy sixer compared to a normal Atari 2600.
All right, so Philip is saying the NES had a limited release in 85, but wide release in 86. I know I didn't get one until about 88 or 89, and that was, I was only like 4 years old, so I know at 3, I got my first console, which was a hand-me-down from one of my mom's coworkers. She gave me her son's old Atari 7800. And that's what my first system was. And I liked it because it came with a bunch of games, including for the 2600.
Yep. My neighbors across the road, their parents worked at Dow. I'm pretty sure they got theirs in Christmas of 85 or in 1986 because they had money like that.
Yeah, I got my first Nintendo around 88, probably 87, 88 area. But with the Atari, I got it like maybe right around 79, 80.
Yeah, see, I got my Atari when the neighbor across the road got his Nintendo, so.
Well, I just remember that my first 3 systems were the Atari 7800, the original Nintendo, and then a Sega Genesis.
Yep. My first computer system was a Commodore 64.
Well, I never considered my Amiga to be a video game system. I always considered it just a computer that could play games. But if you want to consider that, then my first system would have been that Amiga.
I never had an Amiga, so I've
Amiga
heard about
is basically an updated version of the Commodore 64. It had more bells and whistles. That's about it.
I had disk drive on my C64. I had the 5 1/4 floppy on mine.
Yeah, mine had 2 5 1/4 floppy drives, one 3x5 diskette drive, a tape deck drive.
Yeah, mine didn't have all that. I just had a keyboard and a 5 1/4 drive, and it hooked up to the back of the TV.
No, this had its own monitor.
And mine didn't. It hooked right up into the TV.
So, but yeah, it had the 2 5.5-inch floppy drives. It had the 3.5-inch diskette drive, the tape deck drive, a small modem, and even an external power source that could last for about 2 to 3 minutes.
Screw
so that
me,
if you
Phil.
Power, you actually save your files.
Screw me. The 5200 beats any pre-NES. Have you ever played on a 2600 heavy sixer? Are you serious?
Yeah,
are you freaking serious?
Phil,
I'm
you
not
might
talking your regular 2600. I'm talking a 2600 heavy sixer. There is a difference.
Yeah, Phil, you might have me beat on the history, but I can't stand the freaking controller on the 5200. That's why it's not it's just not a better system. The controller sucks. I mean, yeah, you can get a joystick, but then half the stuff on some of the decent games you can't do anymore. But I will say the port of Pac-Man for it is so much better than the 52 or the 2600 version.
And if you're on a really good 2600, get the heavy sixer. I'm telling you, there's a reason for it. That's why I want Mike to look into it.
Well, unfortunately, again, I've got certain shelf units over here that are blocking me from getting to have like a whole section of my storage unit. So I can't get to some of the stuff because I have a whole bunch of, broken, Super Nintendos, regular Nintendos, Sega Genesis.
I know what you mean. I got like Xbox Ones over here. I got PS Ones over here, PS2s. It's so I understand it. I don't have a store like you do, but I understand your pain about having all these extra systems.
And there was a time that it was actually worth it to get them fixed, but right now, with the time and effort to actually repair them and then put them online, no one wants to pay the price for the time it took to get them fixed.
And they still don't.
So,
but like I said, you find that version of the 2600 I want, and I'll make it worth your while. But
I'm fairly sure I've got a couple of them. Because some of them are the all black, some of them are the 6 switch, some are the 4 switch.
Nope, mine was the wood grain 6 switch.
Yeah.
And I had aftermarket controllers for my heavy 6. Till they got stolen.
Well, we know that, but we're talking about the stock controllers.
No, I was talking about Phil. Says get an aftermarket controller.
But yeah, you guys are talking about the computers. That my first one was an old Coco that had a cartridge slot on the side of it, and then I had a tape drive for it.
Y'all ever had a C64 keyboard to add a plug-in for an Atari controller?
Yeah, I had several that had the same pin connectors. In fact, I used to use Commodore 64 joysticks on my Atari, and then I take the same joystick, run it on my Amiga. So, yeah, they were all. I think it was a 7 or 9 pin connector. They all use the same one at the time.
Yep. They're basically the same thing. Yeah.
Even the Sega Genesis and the Master System use the same pin connectors. They just didn't always do the same thing. But occasionally there are, we did find certain games that I could plug in a Commodore 64 joystick into the Sega Genesis and still be able to play the game. But Sonic the Hedgehog was not one of them.
Oh, definitely not.
Because every time you'd hit up, he'd start running forward. Every time you hit forward, he'd start ducking. And you'd hit the jump button and he would die.
I had the Sega Master System, and I had to get rid of the turbo, aftermarket turbo joystick just because... Yeah. Turbo is something you shouldn't use on Sonic.
But Philip, I liked the Intellivision controller because it fit nice in your hand, and the D-pad, or at least the equivalent of the D-pad that they had at the time, was actually really well done for its era. I just wish they had used a proper circuit board instead of the cellophane boards that they used back then to save money, because they tend to wear out fairly easily. Fortunately, if you got the right kind of printer, you can actually print yourself a new one now.
3D printers, people.
No, not even a 3D printer. What you do is you get the type of ink where copper will stick to it. You print out the circuit board. You overlay it onto like a hard piece of plastic.
Yeah, do you know how expensive that is?
And it'll transfer the ink to the circuit board. Then you put the circuit board in a copper solution, electrify it, and it'll actually plate the copper to the plastic, and then you can pull it out and you got yourself your circuit board.
Yeah, do you know how expensive that is?
Yeah, but if it's cheaper sometimes than actually getting a working Intellivision controller that's actually original.
Okay, that old of a system. Okay, yeah, I see you.
I used to do that all the friggin' time. I even printed out circuit boards for Game Boys. But the printer I used was actually an old Lexmark computer or printer. It was just happened to have a cartridge that was easily able to have the ink injected into it that was needed. That's why I used it. But once the printer died, I kind of got rid of it. And which Coleco are you talking about? Because the only one I have, as I said, is the Telstar Colortron. And yeah, that controller sucks because all it is a knob.
Like the old Pong controller.
That's all it is. The console itself is about this big, which it has a speaker in the middle and two knobs on either side, and that's player 1 and player 2.
Yeah, so you know the paddles for the Atari 2600 that let you play Excite Night or whatever the hell that racing game was? That's basically the controllers, the paddle controllers, right, for the Atari 2600. Those came from the original Pong controllers.
I know.
I I enjoyed playing Breakout with,
Okay, so the actual Coleco Vision. Okay. Yeah, that one didn't have the best controllers, but as I said, I can't knock the original Intellivision because it just was such a beautiful system. I'd show everyone a picture of it, but I can't really do that on my phone. But yeah, it was an awesome system. I mean, the gold and wood finish, it kind of looked like it was, I don't know. I don't know how to put it, but it always looked cool to me. I think what else have I picked up recently that I could show you guys that I've been lazy about putting on?
I don't know. What have you been holding out on us?
Well, I picked this guy up, but he's missing too many pieces. I might put it on just for parts.
Looks like an old G.I. Joe toy.
It's an old Matchbox thing.
The C-130
Micro Machines.
Micro Machine, yeah.
But it's missing the front door. It's missing the back door. It has none of the little cars that went with it.
Does anybody remember the Matchbox thing that came back way back in the early 80s called Gargantua?
No, I don't remember.
Yeah. I barely do either. I mean, it was kind of a piss-off poor boy's toy, which is what I got for Christmas one year. It was like a robot. He was red. He had like some see-through doors. You could put cars in.
I can get this one to open. I can't get it to open. Oh,
Okay.
that's good.
The toys I want to get for my childhood, I will never be rich enough to afford. So, like the original G.I. Joe F-14 Tomcat.
Oh yeah, Sky Striker.
With the wings that the swept wings that actually moved. You had the ejecto seats with the parachutes. It had the whole 9 yards. You flipped the switch on the spine of the plane, and it made the wings go from supersonic to subsonic, and then the wheels, the landing gears actually came down when you did that.
Yeah. I need to find an old Megatron. That was the one Transformer I always wanted and could never get.
Yeah, I actually a couple of years back I sold one. I picked up anytime I see a Generation 1 Transformer, I try to pick it up if it's at a decent price. And this guy was gonna sell this whole box of G1 toys for like $50, and I was like, fine, I'll pay $50 for the whole box. And what I ended up doing was I took the Megatron out and I took the pieces that were better on it and added it to mine for my collection. Then I just had a worse off Megatron. So I put it on the store and it sold. But the funny story about it was the guy who bought it lived in Canada. And I shipped it to Canada, and they actually sent it back saying it violated their postal rules about shipping weapons.
So listed as peanut butter.
So what I did is because I shipped it in gun mode, so I just turned it into a robot, shipped it back, and it went through just fine.
Uh-huh.
So this thing is funny. They X-rayed it, saw a gun, and we're like, nope, it's got to go back.
Oh yeah. My dad tried to get me the Megatron for Christmas one year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the year that it hit big. He spent a month and a half trying to find this. Drove an hour and a half away to a mall because he heard a rumor that they had one in stock. Never did find
the
it.
elbow of the day.
You want to know how to get around customs?
What?
Go to a part of the U.S. border that doesn't have a river or a lake and throw it across the fucking fence to somebody you know.
I live in San Diego. What the hell do you expect me to do? Drive up to the border to Canada?
Drive up to Oregon.
No, it was a lot easier just to turn it into robot mode and ship it that way.
A lot cheaper.
Yeah, especially since I could just use the same postage. It didn't cost me anything.
I live in California. You want me to drive to the border? I live in central Michigan. It's the same amount of miles for me that it is for you.
To drive to Canada?
If you go all the way up through the state, through the UP, you're fucking right it is.
Well, wait, you said Minnesota. Minnesota's not that far from the Canada.
Okay, depends on what part of Minnesota. I live in Michigan, so...
Yeah, I'm sorry, Michigan. Michigan's right next to...
yeah, if you go down to Detroit and try to get across to Windsor, but dude, if you go up and try to go across through the UP... You realize
I live about 10 miles away from the Mexico border.
Well, it's not my fault how close you live to your old lady.
But I'm just saying, it's a lot further to Canada than it is from Michigan. I don't know how you don't see that.
Well, you want to make a sale or not?
I would have to drive all the way north through California, past Oregon and Washington to get to the Canadian border from here.
Oh, excuses!
That's like 2,000 miles.
Excuses. Jesus, Mike, come on.
And I'm not going to do that for a toy I sold for $40.
Yeah, it was shipping and handling charge.
Exactly. It's called shipping and handling. Come on, people.
$40 plus $3,000 for shipping and handling.
Yeah. And we're talking about a couple of years ago when gas prices were like $4 a gallon. At least here in California it was.
Guess you never heard how to drive a sailboat.
Nope, don't know how to drive a sailboat.
Geez, really? You live in California, you don't know how to drive a sailboat?
Nope. Although I once did try to volunteer for the Star of India crew. Star of India is the oldest sailing vessel, commercial sailing vessel that still sails to this day.
You know, the first lesson I learned about sailing a sailing boat?
What?
Watch that boom overhead because it'll knock your fucking head off.
Oh no, this is like an old cargo ship. It's actually been in a couple of movies like I think it was in Master and Commander. 1 year for Comic-Con, they actually renamed it.
You're talking about tall. You're talking about tall ships. No, not a tall ship, a sailboat. There's a difference.
Well, it's still a sailing ship. It's like a 2 or 3 mast ship.
There's a difference between a sailboat and a tall ship.
Yeah, one's bigger.
Yeah, one's bigger, and you don't have a boom going back and forth trying to knock your head off.
But no, I couldn't. If you put me on a sailboat in the middle of the ocean, I'm probably going to die.
And he lives in California.
Look, the only boat a member of my family owned had an electric motor. Or not electric, a diesel motor or whatever powered it. And he never let me drive it.
What a millennial.
You got the dinghy. I got to drive the dinghy.
He just wanted to say dingy. Because it rhymes with thingy.
But here, the Star of India was actually, I'm just going to pull out the game. Where is it?
Mike, we love you. You know I got to mess with you.
When this game came out, wrong game. There we go. Assassin's Creed Black Flag. They
Yep,
renamed the Star of India to the name of the ship from this game for Comic-Con. And they had it decked out to look like that ship from the game. It was actually pretty cool.
So you got a tall ship. Yeah. That's a tall ship.
But yeah, I tried to volunteer for the crew because, as I said, they take it out every once in a while, and it's an all-volunteer crew because it's part of the San Diego Maritime Museum fleet. And they said that you had to have at least 6 years sailing experience to volunteer. And I'm like, I've got 0. You're not allowed.
Resolute says it's actually hard as hell to sell the Canada from the U.S. now. They'll stop a damn rowboat approaching Vancouver Island.
Sorry. Will Vancouver or will Canada stop the rowboat, or will the United States stop the rowboat? That's what I'm wondering.
Or is it going to be like that Trailer Park Boys where you got the feds on one side and the Canadian, Mounties on the other side saying, "You're ours now," and then you got the feds from the U.S. on the other side saying, "You're ours." and then you got Ricky and Julian in the middle and Bubble saying, "Just go down the middle, boys. We'll be okay."
I'm going to finish off my coffee real quick. Then I'm going to go down to the car so I can smoke a cigarette. So as soon as I'm done with this, I'm going to leave the chat in your guys' safe hands so I can go smoke.
Our safe hands?
Our safe hands. Me and Nightbreeze.
I was trying to be polite.
Yeah, but it's your stream. It's not ours. We can, we're not going to get the hits.
I will say this. I'll be respectful.
I like Phil's little thing. We're not in freaking Paris here. I think he means Venice. In California, we don't have streets made out of canals. And he did fix it to Venice. And yeah, I can't really see the ocean from where I live, but I live near the San Diego Mission. So if you go to the top of the hill where the mission is, then you can kind of see the ocean from there. But we're still a good 4 or 5 miles away from the ocean.
And I want to say this, Phil. I live in Michigan, so if it ain't a road, it's a fucking river.
I've never been to Michigan, so.
If it ain't a road, it's a river or a lake.
Michigan's nice to visit. I wouldn't want to live there.
Basically,
damn cold in the winter. You don't want to be here in the winter.
The only states I've been to is basically all the states on the West Coast, all the states running along the southern border, and most of the states on the East Coast up to New York. But that's all the states I've been to. And Nevada, because I've been to Vegas a bunch of times. But I've never been to any of the interior states.
Yeah. It's not just cold in the wintertime. I was up in the summer visiting friends.
You got cold up here in the summer.
We went to Mackinac Island, and that ferry, that was cold as hell on Lake Michigan.
Oh, you fucking wussy. That water must have been at least 40 degrees, for fuck's sakes.
That day there was about it was about a 45-mile-per-hour wind that day on the lake.
Okay, so the water is about 35. Jesus, you fucking wussy. For fuck's sake.
I was going to tell you, it does get kind of cold here in San Diego during the winters. Last winter, I actually had to put socks on with my sandals.
Oh my god. Tried ya.
Yeah, I can't remember I think it was this last winter, or it was the year before, that Illinois actually had a snowstorm come through that they closed Walmart.
You know what? I don't want to hear about Illinois closing down their roads. You get like a spit of snow on the roads down there, and y'all close everything down. We get 3 foot of snow up here. You got semis running down the freeway at fucking 70 miles an hour.
Well, we had what was it 13 and a half inches in just a couple hours, and the Walmart I work at was closed for 2 days. The one I used to work at was closed for 3.
Yeah, see,
They had people trapped in or stuck inside for a couple days.
That's why when y'all get a little bit of a rainstorm, we're laughing at you while we're getting pounded by snowstorms, and our semi truckers are saying, "What the hell took you so long?"
Hey, we in California make fun of anyone else who says, "Oh, we had an earthquake. It was a 1.2. We could feel it." It's like, "Oh, you don't even wake up for a 6.0 or lower."
Earthquake.
Wow.
1.2 earthquake. We call that when a fat dude next door farts.
Oh, I remember my sister on Facebook when she was like, "We had the first major earthquake in Virginia in like 10 years. It was like a 2 point something on the Richter scale." And I'm like, "You could feel that?"
The last time Illinois, that's one of the nice things about Illinois. The last time we had a major earthquake, the church bells rang in Boston, and the Mississippi River ran backwards.
And Michigan's just looking down at him like, "What the fuck y'all going on about?"
That was 1811, I think it was. The New Madrid fault had its last major earthquake, and the town of New Madrid just ceased to exist. No, we just get those tornadoes.
Yep, you used to.
Or those hurricanes.
Oh, I remember when the heat wave went over Lake Michigan. I remember this because it was before my first daughter was born, and we were going down to Illinois, and I was driving, and the heat circulated off of Lake Michigan and came down into southern Illinois, and we were driving down to Mount Carmel in southern Illinois, and oh, that storm fucking hit hard.
Oh,
Lake effect for Michigan was hitting southern Illinois.
Yeah.
And the people on Illinois roads were like, "Oh, pulling over." They didn't know what the hell to think. I'm sitting there doing 70 mile an hour down the fucking road. I'm like, shit,
Yeah.
another rainstorm to me. I don't give a fuck.
We're 96. We had a F3 tornado hit the town I live in. And I was at work when it happened. And I don't even know why I did this, but when I'd gone into work that morning, I asked my boss, if we get a tornado, where do I go? Just out of the blue, I thought about asking this. Well, I was a security guard. And he said, "You see that little..."
Okay, you have 3 options. A, you stop if it's in front of you and watch it. B, if it's behind you, you go like a bat out of hell. C, if it's right by you, you go for the lowest ground possible. I don't care if it's a ditch, a dip in, the grass. You go wherever you got to go. You get to the lowest ground possible.
Oh, yeah. I was just talking out there at the factory, and my boss's response was, "You see the little building across the driveway?" Pointing at our porta potty. He says, "You go in there, you drop your pants, and you kiss your ass goodbye."
Okay, so he was joking and trying to get you killed at the same time.
Yeah, but I turned around and sirens started going off there in town that night, and I start following the procedure in the book, and I called the plant manager, and he bitched me out for calling him rather than getting my ass somewhere safe.
See, that's the difference between you were born and raised in Illinois. I was born in Michigan. I'm telling you, you either if you're at home and you live in a country, you handcuff yourself or rope tie yourself to the deepest pipe in your house. So even if the tornado rips the house away from around you, you're still going to be stuck to that pipe because it's 150 feet down in the ground.
Oh, yeah. Well, if I was at home, I had a beautiful basement for storms or that. It just there at work, I just never had thought about asking him.
Go for the lowest ground possible.
Yeah, this factory really didn't have any of that.
That's why you say, "Fuck the factory, where's the field?"
I was in the middle of town.
Then go down, pull up a man cover, get in the sewer. Who gives a
We
fuck?
found it. Yeah, I found a good spot for it. The office had some nice heavy furniture to get under.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back.
You're talking about trying to find shelter in a tornado.
Oh, and Mrs. Vile's in the chat. How you doing, babe?
Hi,
Hi,
Mrs. Vile. Marisol Cardenas.
Yep.
But
Dating for over 3 years, and I still can't get I can't pronounce her last name correctly.
Well, I'll say it for you. Cardenas, I think.
oh,
Or at least I gave it a good try anyhow.
Yeah, that's because I'm just a dumb white gringo who doesn't know how to speak good Spanish.
And you've been with her for 3 years.
Well, she's trying to teach me, but I'm kind of stupid.
Needs more Cardenas.
well, guys, I got to take off. I got to help my dad run some wire. So,
all righty.
Yeah,
well, thanks for joining, Wolfie. We'll see you next time. And of course, next week we'll be doing Jeopardy. So if you want to try to join in on that,
we'll see if I'm awake.
Don't have too much fun in the moonshine shack.
Yeah. See you later.
Jep Nerdy. Wow, really? You're doing that next week?
I'm doing it every other week on the CNA streams.
Oh, pretty close, says Mrs. Vile. Awesome.
Well, she lives about, a mile or half a mile from the border, and I live about 5 miles from the border.
Okay, cool.
Maybe closer to 8 or 10 miles. I can't remember exactly. But right now, I can't cross the border because I keep having issues getting my passport, and she can't cross the border because Trump won't let her.
Hey, Vile, is anybody watching for tunnels from our side of the border?
Is anyone watching what?
Tunnels from our side of the border?
I'm sure they watch for them. I've actually not recently, but I've heard stories about them. And they're actually kind of ingenious. Like they'll have like mine cart type tracks through them, electric lighting, ventilation.
Oh yeah, they go all out. Phillips about 5 miles from the border in Chula Vista.
Yeah, I'm up in Mission Valley, so
I knew you guys weren't too far apart. So.
And Phil, most likely I'll be hitting up Dennery, the Walmart there, either Monday or Tuesday, depending on how I feel. So, that's one of the good things about my job is I can hit whatever stores I want in whatever order I want, usually.
You know what you should do, Mike? You want to make some good money? Have your missus, if she knows how to make them, some homemade tamales. Send them up to you. You know, find a way to get them up to you while they're still hot. and you got a food truck ready to go and go sell. Dude, I'm telling you.
No, I've actually seen in some of my Walmarts people selling those things out of their car in the parking lot.
I'm fixing to go to the town 60 miles away to get some fucking fresh tamales. That's some good shit.
Yeah, Phil, I'll try to send you a message on Twitter next time I go to the stores. Usually, Dennery is one of the ones I usually try to hit early in the morning or late in the afternoon, only because it is so far away from where I'm normally at. It's the most southern store that I have to hit. So, as I said, it's usually either the last one or the first one I go to the days I do those stores. So I'll try to send you a message on Twitter and see which way I go. It just depends, as I said, how I feel on Monday, what stores I want to hit.
Absolutely. Vile Mike and Philip Gaming trying to get together and maybe do a stream together. Who knows?
Well, no, I work during the week, so it's kind of hard to stream. What I try to do is do all my work that I can do, because most of my schedule is set from Monday to Wednesday,
Hey,
and
Mike,
then
Mike.
Thursday to Saturday.
Mike, guess what? Even if you get them on your phone saying, "Hey, this is Philip Gaming. I'm on Vile Mike's channel," saying, "Hey, how's everybody doing?" That would be amazing as well. So even
We
if
could
you
probably
see
do
him for
something
like
like that.
5 minutes.
But so what I try to do is get all my work done on Monday and Tuesday, so I'll have Wednesday off to go see the Vile Child.
Caddy night.
Yep. Yeah, and Mrs. Vile is definitely correct. Right now, it feels like we live 100 miles apart or more.
No, I can imagine. Me, I'd take a rowboat around that damn border.
Well, again, they monitor that like crazy.
So get one of those narco subs.
Unfortunately, submarines are fake. Remember.
Oh, that's right. Submarines are fake news. I forgot.
Broadway and Palomar are other people's stores. I don't have those stores, except if you mean the one on Saturn, which is near Palomar, I believe. That one is one of my stores, but I don't have to hit it that often because apparently it's not really well liked by a lot of our companies for some reason. I don't know why the Saturn one is like that. I only have to go there like once every week or every other week or so. Whereas like Dennery, I have to hit twice a week.
That Walmart, it's almost like an extension of Tijuana.
Yeah, it's right there next to the border on the 805. It's like the first or second exit off the 805 from the border.
Oops, my
And
bad.
I don't know why that store is mine. We have someone who lives a lot closer to that store, but I guess she doesn't like Dennery, so that's why it's mine.
So find the closest local with the basement closest to the border and go from there. 'Cause that's bullshit what's going on right now. Y'all can't even be together because of some bullshit.
Is that what it is? It used to be a Mervin's. I didn't know that. But yeah, Saturn is one of mine, and it rarely, like every week, I have to go to certain things for some of our clients, but none of our clients are like, "Don't worry about Saturn. We don't care."
Was Saturn even a thing? I thought that was a joke, and GM bought that out.
No, Saturn. The street name is Saturn. That's why I'm saying the Saturn store.
Oh, I thought you meant a car company. Okay.
Well, of course, to certain people that we know that they think Saturn is not real. So
It's a planet, goddammit.
no, I actually had a conversation once with somebody who said that all the planets are actually demons.
Okay. That's weird.
But the stars are angels, the planets are demons.
Wow. What kind of psychotropics were they on?
I believe the drug was called Bible.
Alrighty then.
Probably shouldn't make fun of Christians, though. I'm sure a lot of the people watching my channel are some sort of denomination, including Annie Trekker. I know he is, obviously.
You want to know how we feel? I'll tell you how we feel. It's your ding. Da-na-na-na-na.
And yes, Phil, the Sega Saturn is very real. It just didn't last very long.
The Saturn
Again,
is
that's one of
real.
the systems I'd like to show you because I've got a white one.
You know what I miss? I miss my Sega CD Master System with the Sega CD add-on that ramped it up to
You mean
32.
the Sega Genesis?
Yeah, the Sega Genesis Master System. And it
No,
had
the Sega Master System and the Sega Genesis are two different systems.
My Genesis had a Sega CD that plugged into it.
Yes, but not the Master System.
Yes,
the Master System is a different system than the Sega Genesis.
Whatever. I had like a Genesis that had the Sega CD that plugged into it. It said Genesis, and the CD plugged right into it.
Yes, that's the Sega CD connected to the Sega Genesis. Now, you could have a Master System converter that you could plug into the top of your Sega Genesis, like a 32X, that played Master System games, but the Master System was the system that Sega made before the Genesis.
Okay, so I had the Genesis and the CD plugged into it.
Yeah, I've got the one system that I'm missing that I want is a Sega CDX, which is basically a Sega Genesis / Sega CD condensed down into a much smaller player. And one of the pawn shops I do business with has one, but they never bothered testing it, won't let me test it, and still want like $100 for it.
One of the Sega CD games I had was called Space Truckers, and Dennis Hopper was in it, and so is George Wendt. And I played that game to no end, and then I came to find out later it was actually based on an actual movie called Space Truckers.
I've never played the game, but I've seen the movie a long time ago, but I don't remember anything about it other than the fact that Dennis Hopper was in it.
Dennis Hopper was in it. George Wendt, Norm from Cheers was in it. I played the game before I even knew that movie existed, and it was awesome. The Sega CD games, I'll tell you what, there's no reason the Saturn should not have succeeded, especially after the way the Sega CD took off.
I think what mostly killed the Saturn was the fact that it was kind of expensive for its day, and it came out relatively quickly after the Sega CD. I'm not exactly sure how long it was, but I think it may have been less than 2 years.
Yeah, it was relatively short, yeah.
Phil could probably look it up for us. He's the resident gaming historian here, even though that's a different channel.
He hates his FMV games.
No, they can be fun. They were very niche for their era. I mean, I didn't hate them. And plus, one of them was the cause of the rating system. I can't remember the name of it. Again, I'm sure Phil knows the name of it, but it was like Cheerleader Massacre or something like that. Where, yeah, it was that game in Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat, and yes, Cheerleader Massacre. Yep.
Again, I don't think that's the right name. I'm probably wrong about it.
No. It was Mortal Kombat, and there was another game where you're sitting there and you're stalking somebody and kidnapping them, and yeah. So I know what game you're talking about because there's a thing on Netflix about it.
What was the FMV game that was for the Sega Saturn? That was one of the reasons for the moral panic of the early '90s that led to the ESRB.
Well, Mortal Kombat was
Night Trap. Night Trap. There we go.
Night Trap and Mortal Kombat were the two games that led to the ESRB.
Yeah.
Yes, Bird agrees. Bird of Prey 5 agrees. Kapla Bird. Yes.
And it's funny is I go back and I play those games, and I'm like, how did this lead to the ESRB?
Well, if you go back to, there's an interview. Again, it's on Netflix. It's called, they have all those documentaries, the games that made us, the movies that made us. They have all those. Well, one of the games that made us has a whole thing on the ESRB. And they did a whole thing on Mortal Kombat and Night Trap. And the guy that originally made Night Trap said that the final product was such a joke from what he had originally made.
Yeah.
And it is. Sega CD. Yeah, Sega CD. Sega!
Yeah, I know it was mostly Mortal Kombat, but I remember during one of the hearings they brought up Night Trap as well.
Yeah, and the thing is, they even said, hey, you've never played the game, so how the F would you even know?
But yeah, back in college, I actually did one of my papers on the ESRB, and I don't remember a lot from it. because we're talking like, God, over 15 years ago now. I feel old, but
You are.
yeah, the ESRB was basically a joke. I mean, I compared it to the movies rating board, and it's even more of a joke than the movies rating board, because the movies rating board is ridiculous as well.
And we can all thank Tipper Gore, along with all these Christian people that just want to make everybody happy.
Oh, it's not just the Christians when it came to that. It was all about moral guardians, both on the left and the right, that were against video games at the time.
See, that's the thing, right? And that's why I hate when anybody brings Christianity in anything. Okay, if you want to be a good Christian, why do we have a homeless problem? If you want to be a good Christian, why do we have people struggling to put food on our tables? You want to be a good Christian? Why do we have kids that don't have good homes?
Right.
If you
I
claim,
can't give you a wrench, Phil, but post that link in there. People can cut and paste it. I can't give you the wrench because I'm on Streamlabs, not the YouTube channel. But because I definitely want to see that. Sorry for interrupting you, Sci-Fi.
oh no, you're good, Mike.
But
And I think
Yeah.
animated series is up in about 30 minutes.
that's what Bird said, or Richie said it about Bird. And I'll definitely end the stream before that. I thought he started at noon, not 11. Or at least, is he starting half an hour or an hour early this time?
Well, half an hour would be 2 p.m. Eastern, so that's about the usual time.
Yeah, see, I don't have an issue with violence or sexuality in video games, and I think anyone arguing about it is pointless. I mean, I'm glad that there is an ESRB, and I'm glad it's controlled by the video game companies themselves as a self form of regulation, because Lord knows a government regulation board would just be horrendous. Just put the link in, Phil, and we can cut and paste it out later. Or if someone with a wrench can post it. As I said, I can't do it on Streamlabs or StreamYards, and I can't do that.
Well,
I can't run both on my phone.
That'd be Bird of Prey or Richie Poole. Or Mrs. Vile.
Or Caddy if she's still here. I think she was just saying hi. As I said, she's with her mom's family today, so. But yeah, the whole thing, it was moral guardians always trying to protect the children without really giving a crap about who's actually supposed to be playing the game to begin with. I mean, to this day, we have people that think, oh, it's a cartoon, it must be for kids. Or it's animated, it must be for kids. And no, it's not.
I guess I never watched Ren and Stimpy or Beavis and Butthead. Or King of the Hill.
Oh, I just even more recently, I remember when Sausage Party came out, a lot of people took their kids to see the movie, and they were like disgusted about how raunchy it was. And I'm like,
oh my God,
it wasn't meant for kids.
I never thought the name Sausage Party would mean that. Really? The name was Sausage Party and you didn't think it meant that? Get the fuck out of here. That was my reaction. Get the fuck out of here. It's named Sausage Party. Really? You name a porn movie Sausage Party. What the hell do you expect to expect? Come on. Dumbasses. Like, people have no brains these days.
No, and if you're going to have your kids watch something, maybe you should watch it with them so you know what the content is before you actually just let them watch it.
It's called good parenting.
Exactly. But the problem is anyone who's a moral guardian doesn't want to actually be the one who parents their child. They just want to be able to stick their kid in front of a TV and think, oh, this is going to be wholesome no matter what. And then, of course, these are the same people that'll complain about, why are you teaching my kid evolution in my school? How dare you teach them stuff that I don't like? Well, then don't let them be in this damn school.
You know what? You don't want to teach them about evolution? Go pay for their Catholic education, you dinks.
Actually, Catholics are pro-evolution. It's more of the
Whatever.
Baptists that aren't.
Whatever. Take them to a Baptist school. Take them to a Jewish school. Give them the fuck out of the public school system if you don't want to tell the public schools on how to teach your kid.
Oh, and that's actually more of a generalization. Not all Baptist denominations are against evolution. It's some denominations of evangelicals and stuff like that.
All I'm saying
not
is,
all
Mike,
branches.
if they got a problem with the way the public schools are conducted, then they can go pay for the kid to go to a church school. Give them
Well, and that's actually what my aunt did. Is she took her kids out of school because they taught the wrong things apparently, and when these kids actually hit the real world, they were kind of screwed because I'm not kidding. One of the things that she taught her kids was that pi equals 3, because that's what it says in the Bible.
Because screw the 0.14 and infinity beyond.
Yeah. And then, of course, one of them grows up to be a carpenter and learns that pi doesn't equal 3 exactly.
Oh,
and was dumbfounded about that.
He discovered a slide rule and a calculator. Who the funk?
Yeah. But yeah, I kind of felt bad for those cousins of mine because when they turned 18, the world hit them hard.
Bird said, "What link to post?"
Yeah, I don't know how we do it, but yeah, or Phil, you could just send it to me on Twitter or something, and I'll check it out.
Bird, we're talking about a post from Philip Gaming. So
yeah, he's got a video about the history of the ESRB type stuff. What was his quote exactly? I did a whole review on video game controversies and censorship.
Yep. So if you go to Philip Gaming's channel and find that video, that's the link to post.
But again, when it came to the whole moral guardian stuff, especially during the satanic panic stuff, that was both sides. I don't care if some people are like, oh, that was just the right. No, it was both sides.
It was both sides. They were both dumbasses in that whole conversation. To be honest with you. Because nobody wanted to sit down and have a conversation. Oh, this side said that. This side said this. Oh, we're just going to fight with each other because F all y'all. No, that's not how we have conversations. That's how we keep
the whole satanic panic in general was just stupid.
It was completely stupid. And you know what? That's nothing new. It's still going on today. That's why you see all the dumb shit going on today. It's over exemplified because of this new medium called the internet with an overload of information. And the best thing that both parties can do is keep us all divided. They don't want us to come together to have an actual conversation, to think about actual solutions to problems, because if we did that, they would no longer hold their power bases on either side.
Yep.
So that's why they want to say, blah, 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 and blah, 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 and back and forth into the ears of everybody else that doesn't have skills to think critically for themselves. So
what's funny is even recently, within the last year or so, I mentioned to somebody that my daughter played D&D, and she literally said, "Oh, you shouldn't be letting your daughter play that. It leads to the devil."
Oh my God! Really? That 1980s argument?
No, we're talking about 2019.
Yeah, that's a 1980s argument. For fuck's sake!
And I was like, "Oh, don't worry. She already worships the devil."
You should have looked at that person and said, "I am the devil."
Oh, I've done that too. If someone has accused me of worshiping Satan, I would usually say like,
"I do not worship the Dark Lord. I am the Dark Lord."
There you go, peeps. If you want to freak people out.
I really shouldn't be doing that voice when I'm smoking.
That sounds so much better.
I'll get you next time, Gadget.
By the way, hail Kuroga.
Hail the independent nation of Vile.
Vilistan.
Science.
Because science. Wait, don't say that. They're going to say that, you're one of those weirdos.
Well, I get a kick out of people who say that, like, well, science doesn't know everything. And I'm like, no, science doesn't know everything. But the whole point of science is to try to discover the answers. It's not to ignore the ones you don't like.
Exactly. and there's the funny part. The people that argue against science, right? The ones that argue against science, that are arguing against science, have no scientific basis for arguing against science. And they're like, show your proof. We're like, we already did. Where's your proof?
No, but it's too easy for someone just to deny that aspect of it. So to me, it's more of when someone says something stupid like, oh, I hate to beat a dead horse, but say the flat earth thing. I would just ask, is that the scientific consensus? Well, no. So then I don't care.
See, I don't even take the word consensus into consideration in an argument.
Well,
I could give two shits and a fuck about a consensus. What does the scientific proof say? What does the proof say? How many times have you done?
Sorry, I got to stop you right there, only because I hate the word proof when it comes to science, because science necessarily doesn't have proofs. It has evidence.
Now, proofs
are only good in math.
Okay, proofs also works in science, because if you can repeat an experiment with the same result,
proves that the experiment was correct. It doesn't prove the experiment is actually.
It means it's viable, and if you have a scientific,
I'm just saying.
I know you don't like the word
someone
proof.
who knows the scientific nomenclature, I prefer using evidence, not science.
Okay,
evidence, not proofs. I misspoke.
If your evidence is proven to be viable because you can repeat that experiment and people are still trying to argue against it? Really?
Oh, I know, but I'm just saying, as I said, it's the experiment itself is evidence. It's you might prove the experiment, but it's not necessarily that proof is still just evidence.
Not necessarily, because it was a high.
When you're talking about scientific, hold on. When you're talking about scientific nomenclature, it's evidence. It's not necessarily proof. Proof has a different definition colloquially than in the scientific medium than in like legal mediums. It's different.
Stop splitting hairs for 2 seconds.
Well, because when you say proof, people assume that it's 100%, and the thing is, it's not always 100%, even in science. And that's one of the benefits of science. It's also to the detriment, because people will be like, "Oh, you're only 99.99999% sure."
Okay,
that means you could be wrong.
I guess there's no proof that water is 1 molecule hydrogen and 2 molecules oxygen. There's no.
No, you can prove that because you can prove it mathematically. As I said, anything you can prove mathematically is proof.
Tiki, I live in southern Canada. It's called Michigan. So whatever.
Yeah, and I live in northern Mexico. It's called California. You know what's actually funny is someone pointed out to me, and I think it may have been Mrs. Vile, that New Mexico is the only state in the union that actually has on their license plates the state of New Mexico, because so many people thought that New Mexico wasn't part of the United States.
Well, Michigan used to, for many, many decades, used to say the Great Lakes state. I'm not sure if they tried to differentiate us from Canada or what they were trying to do, but there's that. We also used to be called the Winter Wonderland and everything else.
But math is racist now in 2020. Yeah, of course. I know certain people that would say something like that.
I don't like your numbers. You're racist.
No, I've actually heard some people like, you'd argue like, well, 1 + 1 = 2. And they'd say something along the lines of, well, it depends on your definition of 1.
Not always. It might equal 11.
Oh God. But I'm just saying they're talking about, well, because in different base numbers, you can always have it equal something different. But I was like, I'm talking colloquially, not necessarily in different base numbers. We tend to think in base 10 because that's how we're taught from children.
Exactly. Keep base pair sequences out of this.
I don't know if Minnesota actually has 10,000 lakes. I've never actually counted.
This looks like one big state that used to have Jesse the Body Ventura as a governor to me. And Cinnabon over there trying to fly a plane around, raising bunny rabbits.
Yeah, Tiki, I've actually had, again, people had brought that up as well. What they argued was the fact that if the government says that 5 is the same number as 4, then yes, 2 + 2 = 5. It depends on your definition of the number 4 or number 5.
But there are only 4 lights.
Again, that would depend on your definition of the word 4. God, it's annoying.
And how you use the word 4. 4 is a number. 4 as in playing golf, or 4 as in skin. So, I mean, again, what definition of the word 4 are you using?
No, the thing is, they're trying to say is, someone says that if you have a container holding 4 objects, you just replace the word 4 with 5, and suddenly 5 = 4. Therefore, 2 + 2 = 5.
I dare you to go on a golf course, hit a ball, and say 5.
I think actually, my cousin would have been one of my cousins would have been one of those people.
See how that works for you. Then we'll see how good those number arguments work in your favor. Then again, you'll get their attention. They're going to look up and be like, 5, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's like the whole idea between alternative facts. They're just using alternative numbers now.
Well, when I had math, my mom called it new math. Now I have my math, and the shit my daughter had to learn, the so-called new math of the millennials, where they got to type out all this bullshit just to get a simple answer. My daughter has Asperger's, and I said, no. Forget all this bullshit your teacher's teaching you. You see this little number here? Yes. Okay, what is it plus this number? And she said the correct answer. I said, now why do you got to waste your time doing all this bullshit that don't mean nothing? Because
well, sci-fi, the reason I know you say the bullshit they're teaching them, but it's when it was explained to me, I understood. It's ways of teaching them complex math strategies at a younger age in order to be able to figure out this stuff in their head later in life instead of having to rely on stuff like a calculator.
Okay, I can understand that in long division, but for 2 + 2, no, fuck all that dumb shit.
I know, but in order to get it for the higher concept stuff, you have to understand it at a basic level. That's why they're teaching
don't.
Like that.
2 + 2 is for fuck's sake. Really? No, you do basic addition, basic subtraction, basic multiplication, basic division, then you go on to the hard stuff. And you learn how to do the long division. Yeah,
but I'm just saying
is bullshit. Thank you, Phil. I agree 100%.
Again, after I had it explained to me, I think Common Core is a much better system.
No, it's not, especially for people, like my daughter that's on the spectrum. I'm pretty sure I am too, because you see numbers and they automatically run through your head.
Sci-fi. Again, it's like what we were talking about. We're taught as children how to do math in base 10, right? Now imagine having a child grow up where they're taught in base 6 instead.
Then that's just retarded.
But the only reason you're saying that is because you were only taught base 10 as you were growing up.
No, it's not. I was taught base 2, base 3, base 4, base 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I was taught that, and that's how I taught my daughter. Common Core is bullshit.
Well, that's your opinion, but
that Common Core,
your opinion's wrong.
Common Core is a lazy way for new teachers to try not to teach
No,
kids.
It's not.
Yes, it is.
Common Core was designed by teachers for teachers to teach the students instead of having a math program designed by bureaucrats to teach children.
You know what? Let somebody that had to learn under these systems decide which is the best way to learn. I'll tell you what, Common Core is going to go.
That's the problem.
The
people who have learned under these systems like them.
No, we do not.
Yes.
No, we do not.
You didn't learn under the systems. You've already admitted that.
Exactly.
As I said, when I was shown how it's done, I was like, oh my God, this actually is a better system.
You know what? My daughter did try to learn under it, and I told her to tell that system to fuck off. And you know what? She did better at math after I told her that.
But that's what I'm saying is you didn't let her learn the actual system.
Yes, I did. And she wasn't learning
That's what you just said you told her to fuck it off.
After she was trying to learn and she couldn't learn. And I said, okay, this is how I learned.
I realized because the way you learned is a lot easier at a younger age. The whole point of doing the Common Core, the way they're doing it at the younger age now, is so that when they get to the higher grades and higher mathematics, they're able to actually understand and do it in their heads easier without relying on it.
Common Core has been around for the last 20 years. My daughter is 17 now. I'm 44. She started learning Common Core in 2nd grade. She had the hardest time with it until 6th grade when finally I told her, look, this is how I learned. Okay, so I gave her a full 4 years to learn how to do this shit. And then I went to her teachers, and I went to her principal, and I went to her school board.
I'm going to end the stream before yours. I'll probably end it in like 5 minutes or so.
But I'm telling you, I just didn't tell my daughter out of nowhere that it was bullshit. I told her, her teacher, her principal, and the school board.
Again, sci-fi. I felt the same way as you when I was trying to show Caddy how to do math, and she was like, no, the teacher wants us to do it this way. I thought the same thing as you. I thought this is fucking stupid. You're taking way too long to do an easy problem. That's when I actually sat down with one of the teachers, and they explained it to me. So and when the teacher explained it to me, I was like, oh my God, this actually is a better way.
Yeah, they tried to show me the same thing, and I still told them they're full of shit.
And I think you didn't give it. I don't think you gave it a good enough shot.
You're trying to tell me I didn't give Common Core a fair enough shot?
I'm saying
really,
because as I said, everyone that I know that actually understands the purpose of it knows that it's a better way to learn complex things. Like, could you do long division in your head?
Yes. And I never had Common Core. All
right, let's see. Let's pull some numbers out of my ass.
No, you're not going to pull anything out of your arse except
divide 1701 by 17, and give me the answer within 10 seconds.
17.1.
No, you're actually wrong there, and you didn't even try to figure it out.
No, because I'm
it
not
would be 1701. It'd be 17 points something else because the 10 is not 0.01.
Oh my God, the decimal point was off. Oh, for fuck's
exactly.
sake.
But I'm saying this is something that they're able to actually do in their heads because they learned it at a younger age.
You know how many kids that I've quizzed the same way you just have that still can't get anything right that way? All of them cannot get that right. And when I do the test for the Common Core, they give them calculators.
But I'm just saying, the way they're doing it is to teach people how to do a lot of these complex math problems in their heads without having to rely on a calculator.
The theory, but that's not how it works.
Sorry, I was just giving Phil the chance to. Yeah, he's got another video coming out.
I've been round and round with the local school district for the last 20 years about this, Mike.
Well, we'll just have to disagree on it. But as I said, I think it's a much better system once I understood it.
Now, apparently not for people on a spectrum like my daughter, and apparently myself.
I don't think I'm on any sort of spectrum, but or at least I'm sure I'm on the spectrum somewhere, but I don't know where. Because I'm a much more visual learner than I am auditory.
Visually, auditorily, it has nothing to do with how you learn. It's how fast you process information. And if you're trying to give us some extra bullshit to process to get to the end result, then that's some bullshit.
I don't know how to explain it in such a way that you might actually agree with it. That's the problem. I'm not someone who actually was taught this as a child, and I wasn't someone who came up with it. Oh, we've only been talking for almost 2 hours, Eliu. You missed a lot. And I'm actually about to end it, so Birdstream, because I don't want to overshot him.
Animated series Sunday. Everybody check out Bird of Prey 5.
I'd post the link, but I can't do it right now. If Bird was still here, I'd have him post a link.
Bird of Prey 5 on YouTube. Star Trek, the animated series Sunday, starting in like a minute, 2 minutes. Check out Bird of Prey 5.
We're only down to 3 people watching, so I'm guessing it's they're all going over to Birdstream anyway.
So there we
go.
go.
I'm going to go ahead and end the stream now. I'll join Birdstream in a little bit. I got to re-render the video, and I'm going to try to post it during his stream. I'm not going to do a premiere, but I want to get it out as soon as possible because, it's only episode 3 and episode 4 already came out.
Very cool.
So
I'd rather call this the Caffeine, Nicotine, and Asshole stream because, I'm on here.
And Sci-Fi, if you want to do a collaboration like on episode 5 or something, just get back to me on Twitter.
Oh, yeah, we'll do, Mike.
So,
as much as we argue, you're still my friend, so.
Elihu, the reason there's no marijuana in there, despite it being legal here in California, is I don't personally smoke marijuana because I have a severe tolerance to most drugs, but THC is not one of them, and it hits me like a freaking brick, and I get really zoned out after smoking.
And, he already calls himself fat, so if he eats any more...
Yeah, it's funny. It's like I can down a bunch of pain pills and it won't have any effect. I can take some sleep pills and they won't have any effect. I can drink a whole lot of alcohol and still be sober. But I have one good puff of weed and I am out.
Out.
So.
Right. Out. He's out.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream, though, because Bird should be starting in about a minute. So.
Absolutely, Mike.
I'll just say later, folks, and thanks for joining everyone who joined and anyone who was in the chat. Later, all.
Take it easy.